Welcome to Weapons Education. Back with Jim.
Yep.
As promised, welcome Jim. It's a pleasure.
Great to be here, man.
Drove to my property. Drove about an hour, so I really do appreciate it. And we're going to be doing this weekly, and we agreed to do that because Jim has a lot of certifications he's going to explain to you momentarily. He is a federal firearm licensed dealer. He's the FFL that will be selling all the firearms through Armory Express outlet. So I'm very excited about that. Once the store opens, we're going to link right to your website. It has excellent prices. Excellent prices. He'll drop ship, of course, from his FFL shop right to their FFL anywhere in the United States. So that's really positive. Today's video is going to be breaking down a Colt Delta Elite 10mm. A lot of you have been waiting on this video, and I've been personally waiting for Jim to come down to do it, because Jim, you're certified with how many different companies?
I'm a certified armor with 5 different major manufacturers, including Glock, Smith & Wesson, Remington, Sig Sauer, and Springfield Armory. I'm also certified on rifle with Robinson XCR and Remington, and a few others.
So, what is the difference, excuse me, between an armor and a gunsmith?
Well, an armor is a repair artist where we're certified to repair the specific make and model for the manufacturer if necessary, or do upgrades. And a gunsmith can do all of that, of course, but he also can turn and make barrels and manufacture guns from scratch. That's not what I do. I am a repair person, an armorer, as they say, and I make certain things for guns, but I mostly repair guns. And that's usually what we do.
Thank you so much. So that's why you're here, and we're going to be doing a lot of these type of breakdowns with a total pro. So, Jim, you're also a private detective.
I am.
I know you want to keep kind of that a little bit secretive, and I know you cannot tell our friends who some of your high-end clients are, but you told me something interesting, and this is pretty cool. Let's just say, I don't know, let's just say Elvis Presley was still alive, and he was your client. Let's just pretend, okay? A pretend person, because he's deceased as me. If he was still alive and he was your client, and he had a party at his house, I'm throwing him off. Oh, he doesn't know I'm throwing this question at him. This is off guard, off the fly, right?
Right.
Now, if he had a party, and then he would call you the next day and do what's called a bunk sweep. I thought that was interesting. Well, explain that.
Yeah. Well, what we used to do was executive protection, and I still have executive protection knowledge and experience. And what we did was handle the entire array of a celebrity or someone like a government official that needed not only bodyguard protection, but round-the-clock protection, which includes things like sweeping for bugs, making sure the house and the home is secure, and checking the ingress and egress from property, things like that.
So after a celebrity would have a large party with dozens of people at their home, they would call someone in, like you, and you would bring a team in, and usually you'd find some hidden little cameras or some microphones, and then they could, like the National Enquirer or something could use it against them. I mean, am I right or wrong? I know I'm catching a thought on this.
In some instances, I've done bug sweeps for people before, and that usually has to do mostly with ex-girlfriends and stuff like that. But the gist of our business would be in Miami. Back when I was doing it in Miami, was a celebrity would come in to Miami for 3 or 4 days, and hanging out on South Beach or somewhere like that, and we would basically just be there to go around with them, just like you see in the movies nowadays, and you see in real life. Sometimes they always have somebody with them. Well, they don't like to travel with their entire entourage that might be in one city like Los Angeles, so they'll come in here and they'll call up a company like mine and say, bring over 4 or 5 guys to go with us, and once you get used to working with people, of course, it becomes much easier.
That brings something to my mind. And this is off the fly. Of course, you're armed when you're protecting somebody, right?
Yes.
When you're a bodyguard.
Sure.
And now a lot of these celebrities, let's be realistic, they're liberals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't like the Second Amendment.
No, they're not real happy about it.
But they're happy about you being armed to protect them.
Yeah, they don't want to carry from their own, but they do want you to be armed and ready to go at a moment's notice.
Yeah, that's so
it's
silly
for them. But
I don't get that with these celebrities.
I don't either.
Sorry,
That's just the way they
liberals.
are sometimes.
Hello, McFly.
But that's some of what we used to do. You know, and quite a bit of that type of work is tough to explain because you have to get into the personal protection business to understand more about how that works. And some of what we do now in the training issues with concealed carry and the protection stuff we're going to be talking about here.
Yeah, we're going to be
You know,
doing a lot
we're
of
going to
cool
be giving
videos.
you some tips and tricks and things like that go along with what I used to do. That's why I'm here, to give you that little upkeep, that little step up that you wouldn't get from a regular instructor.
Education.
Yeah, education, exactly. That's all it's about.
That's all it's
Training
about.
and education.
All right, it's a little
Yeah,
warm in
go
here.
back a whole nother
Let's
channel,
dry let's dry up our faces. It is the middle of August. We are in a separate structure that's 3,000 square feet in the back of the property. It will be air conditioned in the future, but for now, all right, just we're a little sweaty. Just it's having fun.
We're working with what we got.
We're doing what we got.
We're bringing it to you. We're suffering for you guys.
I'm not suffering. I'm having a good. I'm always having a good time with my friends. Of course, my wife is. Thank you so much. Let's break down this 1911.
Yeah, let's get to it.
And let's just get to it. And this, I'm sorry. I'm starting with this Colt Delta Elite 10 millimeter 1911 as my first field strip of a 1911 on the channel because, well, this one kind of goes to my heart. This is one of the first guns I've ever purchased. It goes back to the early 1980s. You know that I'm a 10 millimeter fanatic, and this gun was, when Colt back then, I think the quality is excellent now, but I think the quality was even a little bit better back then. Would you agree with me, Jim?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Oh, boy, this gun is special.
I'm a big Colt fan.
Good, cool. All right, so now Jim is going to do it, and he's going to do it assuming you're out in the field and you have absolutely no tools. Okay, all you have is your gun, and that's it, and you have to, for some reason, field strip
You
it.
have to take it apart, put it back together without any other tools other than what you got in your hands and your gun. And the beauty of this is, you know, yes, it comes, most of these guns will come with a special key or something that you can use to press down the front of it with on a 1911 type gun. But what if you don't have the key? Your thumb's, you know, going to take a beating if you don't have the key or you don't know how to do it yourself with just the parts that come with a gun. That's what we're going to show you today.
All right, so
Right.
my wife will zoom in.
We're going to try to.
We're going to try to make sure that his hands do not get in the way, but go ahead.
Give you as much space as we can, and because my hands are a little damp,
I'll back up. Beautiful, beautiful gun.
Yeah, I like your bullet too.
Yeah.
Your cartridge there is
50
beautiful.
BMG. What I was thinking of doing is getting a new barrel for that.
There you go. There you go. We're going to upgrade this to 50 caliber. I've got a 50. We can put that. Okay.
We'll be shooting a 50
What we're
on
going
the
to do,
outdoor range.
first thing we always do is we're going to make sure the gun's clear, okay? And in a safe direction, basically, there's the clear gun right there. Muzzle's clear. You good with that? I'm good
Yeah.
with that, okay? Now, what I want to try to show you, which is going to be a little tough, is that on the front of the Colt,
Can you
you don't
zoom in?
have,
Can you zoom in really close to that, please? Really close.
right here, as close as you can get on
High
that.
def, 1080p.
It's got this little ring in the front, okay, that holds the guide rod. And basically that's your lock-up mechanism for the slide. And without any further ado, you can't just push down on this because it's very sharp. If you try to push down on that with your thumb, it's going to be a problem. You might be able to get it down, but you know, you're going to chew your thumb up to do it. So we're going to show you the way to do it out in the field, so when you don't have any other tools with you. That can.
All right, here's a quick edit. We're moving forward here. Jim, keep explaining on how to break down this 1911 without any tools.
No problem. That's what we're going to do. First thing we did was make sure the gun was clear already, and you saw that previously. And now we're going to show you how to actually take this thing apart with no tools. It takes some time. You don't want to mess up your gun. Just take your time. And I know some people are going to say you can't put metal to metal, but you know what? When you're in the field and you don't have any other choice, this is how you do it, and you do it safely without messing up your gun. Okay? Take the back end of your magazine, unloaded, of course. Okay, take the ammo out of it because you're just disassembling a gun anyway. You've already checked your gun to make sure that it's clear. We're doing it in this direction too, so that you'll be able to follow the steps that we do here, because if I did it on the table in front of us, you'd never see what my hand's behind here. Okay? But basically, you're going to put this magazine edge right on that
Right
ring.
there.
Okay? If you'll notice, the magazine, the front of the lip, almost is the same exact direction as that ring.
Let her get a really good
Really
angle.
hard to see that.
See that real close?
But you can put that right on the ring, right there, and push down. Okay? Now you have to be sure not to slip off and scratch the edge of your gun down, so it takes a little finesse. You're going to have to watch me while I do it, all right?
Yeah.
And I've got to grip it better just to make sure that I get it right, so I'm going to do it right here. I push straight down, nice and flat. You're going to reach behind.
Tight. This
It is
Colt,
tight.
this
Yeah.
10 millimeter is tight.
You have to pick it up.
I have a special spring in this too that makes it even
And
extra
I'll
tight.
show you what happens when we get it around. This is what it's going to look like. And it's going to come up. There it goes, Tom. So that's why you have to hang on to it.
Good, good.
There we go.
All right, that's
I'll do
normal.
that again if you want, but-
No, you don't
Basically,
have
that's
to.
what's gonna happen.
We're keeping it real.
And right now, this is where we're at. If you keep your hand over it, the thing won't go flying. If it does go flying, you're gonna have to look for it.
And you really should wear goggles disassembling
Always-
a
Always a
1911.
good idea to have some goggles on. We don't have them on right now, obviously, but that's because hopefully we're not gonna have any problems here and we're gonna be able to, you're gonna be able to see our eyes. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna bring this spring out, okay? We're gonna put it down, and we're pretty good right there. We're gonna bring the guide tool back around so that it comes over this way.
Point to the camera kindly. We're not pointing
We're not
towards my
pointing
wife.
at the camera operator, we're just trying to show you the inside of what's going on here.
Right there, real
Okay,
close.
it went from this side over here. Okay. I brought it around to this side over here. Okay, that was the next step. Then we're just gonna run this, we're gonna cock the hammer. We're just gonna run the slide back to the slide stop spot. The slide stop spot is right here on the slide. It's gonna be real hard to see, but
Right
there's a
there.
little notch. Okay, people should know where that's at, right there. I'm gonna put it right on that notch, and we're gonna push out from the other side and release the slide, release lever. Okay, that's the slide lock lever, or slide release lever, whichever you like to call it. Okay? Then we just turn the gun over, and the frame comes apart, just like that. All right? Now it's a simple matter to,
Let's give them a good look at the
Okay.
internal of the 10 millimeter. All steel, high quality,
oh, beautiful, beautiful gun, bar none.
bar none.
I love it.
Actually, in 2007, at the SHOT Show, Colt reintroduced this gun, and you can buy it again now. It's basically a replica of the one that was made in the early 80s. There's really no difference. I still would rather have one from the early 80s.
Yeah.
But they do make them. You can buy this gun. Okay.
I wouldn't get rid of my, I have a couple of Colts from the older days, and I certainly wouldn't get rid of them.
No.
Not anyway. Getting back to where we're at, now that the gun's partially disassembled, I can point this a little closer toward the camera so you can see it, okay? The guide rod, which is in here, just falls right out, okay? Simple as that. This little, the barrel lock right here, which is the little horseshoe-shaped item in the front, is holding the barrel in place. Well, we swung it over this way so that it would unlock when we push the barrel forward slightly.
That's key.
It's like a
That's
like a
important.
locking key, yes.
Yeah.
Without doing that, you won't get it out.
No pun intended.
Okay.
That was important.
And it comes right out when you do that. And basically, there you go. And the only way you can see it all would be to, let's move it like this so you can see all the little parts and the barrel and
So,
everything else
yeah.
is there.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, spring, 7,
And a mag.
slide, 8, 9. Not too many parts when you
That's-
break it down.
That's completely field stripped. You don't ever want to go any further than this. Don't start taking your frame apart unless you know what you're doing.
Or the trigger, unless
Yeah.
you know
If
what you're
you're
doing.
an armor-
Unless you know what you're doing.
Yes, exactly. If you're an armor or you really have done it before, there's no need to go any further than this. Clean your gun, make sure it's operating properly. That's all you have to do. If you
Or-
got any problems with the inside, bring it to somebody like
And the
myself.
feed ramp, of course, you can polish the feed ramp.
You can do some touch-ups yourself if you want. You can, you know, it's not uncommon. I wouldn't go too far with polishing because, you know, some guns polishing, you can over-polish. You can actually cause them to have some malfunctions later on. So you want to know that you're doing it right, just ask an expert or somebody that's a professional that knows what they're doing. I don't like to call myself an expert. I'm not an expert.
No one's
I am
an
a
expert. No one's an,
professional.
I don't like the word
Sorry.
expert. No one's an expert.
I don't think so.
Otherwise,
I agree.
it's like saying we know it all. It's impossible.
Well, you know, we told you I'm a private investigator. You go to court and you tell the court you're an expert, and I guarantee you there's a lawyer that's going to prove you wrong. So you never say that, and it's just, it's a misnomer that a lot of people think of.
It's like the
But
two
you can be
differences in your NRA certifications. Explain that one more time.
Okay. I can explain that very simply by saying that the NRA certified me to be a law enforcement firearms instructor in handgun, shotgun. They've also certified me to be a civilian instructor in handgun, shotgun, and rifle. And the differences between that and, say, a law enforcement instructor here in the state of Florida, okay, is that in the state of Florida, which is one of the odder states for this, they require that FDLE, which is the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, certify the people that are going to train law enforcement, which are police officers. I'm certified to train police officers in most every other state in the country, except Florida, simply because Florida requires that and that alone. But the NRA teaches military, they teach law enforcement all over the country, all year long, except in the state of Florida, where that you have to be certified by the Department of Law Enforcement themselves.
And what you are?
I am. No, I'm not certified by the Department of Law Enforcement for that. I am a K license instructor, and a K license instructor in the state, which is a state licensed instructor, is trained to teach security guards and other private investigators to carry a firearm on duty, which is a separate license called a G license. And a lot of people here in the state of Florida would probably know what that means. And that's a duty license that we use for carrying our firearms when we're on duty. A concealed weapons license is for carrying a firearm when you're off duty or a civilian. So we have different licenses for different reasons and different certifications for different reasons.
Interesting.
That's pretty much why.
But I'm learning. This is interesting.
It's a lot to take in, but yeah, it has its needs and its uses, and as a K licensed instructor and an NRA certified law enforcement instructor, I pretty much have enough background and experience to teach and instruct in any curriculum that I'm qualified to do so in.
And of course, my wife does have her permit, but if she did not have a concealed weapons permit, you can put her through a course and get her
That's
permit.
the simplest thing we can do.
That's the
Basically, get you a
thing.
concealed weapons license.
Yeah.
And that takes a few hours, very little time. I can teach anything all the way up to executive protection for private investigators. So, we have quite a few levels. We've got 13 different courses I teach.
Yeah.
And, if you want to get a hold of me, simple matter to talk to Tom.
Yeah, we'll be
figure all
announcing
that
the whole name of your company
Sure.
here in the next few weeks, and going even more exotic on exactly what you do. All right, now let's put this Colt Delta Elite 10mm from 1984 back together.
Okay, now that's the part, Tom. I forgot to tell you that I got to go right now, but I'll be back. No, that's just it.
I can do
We're
it, but I want you to do it.
We're gonna do it right. I just thought I'd give you a little heartache. All right, we're gonna start with a slide, obviously. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna just basically reverse the process. That's the whole idea here, is try to reverse the process, get it back to where it was, and it's really as simple as trying to reverse the process, because we want to just start putting things back the way they were.
Okay, so you just put the barrel
back in.
And just trying to keep it simple, Simon.
Yep,
Trying to keep your
simple
hands
Simon
out of the way
stuff.
from the camera.
Kinda tough
If
to
that's
do that.
possible, if
Yeah,
that's
we're gonna
possible.
try that. But
So this, putting this lock
we're gonna
back in
get the lock
place.
back in place, okay?
You just snapped it in there.
That's all. We're going to insert the guide rod back this direction for Colt. Sometimes with some guns, you have to come in from this direction, like Springfield Armory, for instance. You don't put it back in this direction, you put it back the other direction.
That's right, it's
okay?
reversed.
It's reversed. And you just get the guide rod to fall back into place like that. Now the guide rod's back in there where it's supposed to be, and it's laying, this half moon has to be laying down on the barrel. So you turn the half moon to where it goes down the barrel,
Right, we know that.
like that, and you're pretty much in good shape right there, okay? And we're going to insert the guide rod spring just back on top of the guide rod, and we're not going to redo all this yet, okay? We're going to get ready to show you that we're about ready to get back to work here, except for that we have to move the slide lock, the barrel lock, I'm sorry, back around. And it's a little tricky when it's put together like this, so you just have to kind of go between the spring and bring it back over to the other side. Now the barrel's locked in there, it won't come back out, and we can reassemble the rest of the gun. Can you see that front? Okay. All right, and now that we're ready to go back together with that, we're going to just throw this cap on here so we don't forget it, because that could be bad, okay? And we're going to slide the frame back up here, and there it goes again. We're going to take a little time to get it back in there. Oops, on this side.
Take our time.
Yep, we're just taking our more time. And there it goes. Just gotta just work it a little bit. Make sure you don't press anything. There's no rush. There's nothing that you have to beat on here. It just goes right back together. All right. Insert. You're going to look down inside here, and this is kind of tricky. You're not going to be able to see this on camera very well. You want to make sure your barrel, the little lug that was hanging down in there, is inside, is right through that hole. You've got to manipulate it so that little black lug that was hanging down off the barrel is right through there, because that's what that's going to go through. If it doesn't go through it properly, when you insert it, you might have to wiggle it a little bit to get it in the right place. All right, and once you do, it'll fall right in. Let's try it one more time because it's a little tricky sometimes.
This gun is one of the trickiest 1911s to field strip.
Yeah,
it is very tight tolerances.
They can be a little tricky, and sometimes they don't want to fall right in place. There we go. Okay. It does fall in place if you just keep working on it, all right? And when you have it right,
patience. It's like fishing.
When you have it right, it'll go right through there, and the barrel will be locked.
And we enjoy breaking down our firearms and field stripping them. And I like the line, what is the highest and most important quality of being a good fisherman? Patience.
Right?
Patience.
Patience.
No worry, no stress. Okay, let's move on.
Well, all right, getting back to this. By the way, it may look like I'm pointing the gun at Tom, but he can tell you right now it's actually going that way, but the video being two-dimensional, you're not really going to see that as easily as you could if you were sitting in front of us. So just want you to be aware of that.
Thank you.
Even a gun like this, I would never intentionally point it at anyone, even though it's broken apart.
Right.
It's just good habit not to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back to square one here, and we're just going, now that we know that that's in there and the barrel's locked, we can bring it back up here, okay, and put it right underneath that pin, just like that, all right? And what we're trying to accomplish here is just locking it in. And all you have to do is give it a little snap, and a good quality gun will pop right in.
Pop right in.
Okay, that detent doesn't fall back in here, which is the detent that holds it in there. You can see it sticking out. What you need to do is have a small edge. You can use this if you don't have any tools, and that's what we were kind of talking about here. You could use this to push the detent in, but it should pop right back in by itself. If it doesn't, you can use a pencil or whatever you might have it handy to push the detent slightly. Shouldn't have to do it on a quality gun like this though.
Right.
Okay. Now we're just going to come back up here, and we've got the gun back where we want it. And all we want to do is find our little cap again. And this is the really tricky part here because you don't have anything else you can use. So I'm going to wipe my hands real quick because I don't want it to go flying.
But take your time.
We'll be in weapons education heaven here in a minute if I don't. All right? And what we want to do is we're going to push this down. But Tom has a special spring in here, so it's really hard.
It's a special spring.
And I'm holding it down with my
But since I
finger.
put that new spring in there, I've never had a malfunction in this
Really?
gun.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
great.
and it was, that spring made that gun perfect.
Super spring and a super gun. I've got it all the way down the side, and I've got to get this barrel turned back around. That is the tricky part. Now, what happens here is I'm holding it with one finger, and I'm actually going to use the magazine again to push straight down and lift up on the barrel and catch it on right there.
Good job.
Just come back around with it, and it's locked. We're going to double check it. We'll do an armorer's check on it. Make sure that it's locked in, it's solid, it's able to fire, and it closes. And you're pretty much good right there.
Okay, let's put the empty magazine in. Let's put it on this little stand here.
Put it right back in there.
And I would like my wife to get a nice close-up on. That's just
And that's
beautiful.
it.
Let me polish it. Let's just do it like this.
That's everything there is to it.
To show both sides. And I'm sending this off to Colt, as I've been mentioning, but you know, I've been buffing it with some flits a little bit, just like here and there.
What's that?
See these scratches? They irk me.
Get that out with
I'm
some
attention.
stainless steel polish.
I'm attention to
No,
detail.
I can take that down with some stainless steel butter.
Yeah, and make that look just like a mirror again.
Like a
Because
mirror.
that little stuff bothers me.
You have to have some
I mean,
stainless.
for almost 30 years, I think it's looking pretty good.
Oh, it's
And
looking
probably
great.
10,000 rounds through it.
White stainless polish, that's all you need.
You see here, there's a couple of spots here.
Yeah.
This is the gun I was telling you about. I was hoping you can
Take
polish.
some high polish in.
All right, so that concludes this video, and Jim and I will be back at another time.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.